What is going on, everybody? It is episode 903 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis actors. It's Mary. We sure have had quite a week. So, TGIF, I know all of us are grateful. We don't have any pests in the studio. And we also don't have any guests in the studio.
No pests, no guests.
We're all alone, but I like it. It's peaceful.
We're
just going to enjoy ourselves and relax for once.
We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, but before we get into it...
Actually,
yes.
Before we talk about anything, I want to show this shirt that Brett got me.
Yeah, it was the second part of your birthday gift.
They didn't see this. This is a Luce shirt. See? With the dog. Really cute. And if you weren't aware, Luce is the Vatican's Jubilee year mascot.
Yeah. So that's big thanks to Olivia, because when we were going back to Michigan, and I was scrambling to get you the rest of your birthday gift. I was like, we were driving and I'm like, crap, what's the name of the thing? Girl.
Then you don't even know how to spell it. It's in Latin, right?
I didn't know, and Olivia was the one who remembered the name, so it wouldn't have happened unless
the hate for Luce was crazy.
Yeah.
I noticed it was really all of the mega trads, the people who really like telling
Luce?
you about how trad they are.
Yeah.
Who were like, we don't want this anime bull crap. And like, they weren't talking like that, but you know what I mean? They were like, this is like degenerate and modern and we don't like this. But it's like, the character was just like made up for kids or whatever. Even
so y'all just want to die out.
Right? Like, it's not the worst thing in the world. And they were saying like, oh, like I was listening to this podcast that's hosted by Catholics, which I won't even say what it is. But they were like, oh, look, she has blue hair. That means they made her like a feminist. Really? Really? Come on, no. Like, get real, okay? It's a freaking like chibi character, and you're mad that it's a blue-haired feminist.
That's what it is. Luce is a blue-haired
Stage 4 anti-woke right there. Not recovering from that. There's no amount of chemotherapy that you can recover from stage 4 anti-woke, and you don't like Luce. You can be neutral, but if you're like Luce derangement syndrome, like, you need help. Seriously.
Luce derangement syndrome.
And I'm never a let people enjoy things person.
She's really not.
But with this, I was just like, why are you mad? Like, you could really just benefit
I'm going to use that against you every time you now say, like, people shouldn't enjoy something. I'm like, oh, but Luce is okay. I get it.
I don't think, you know what? Whatever. If that's hypocritical, fine. Fine. I embrace it. I embrace... my moments of hypocrisy.
That's fine.
We all have them.
That is fine. Guys, hit the like button on this video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. It's a gift you should give yourself. It's Friday. You've earned it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't subscribed here yet already. Remember to share this episode and all the segments out with everybody in your life that you both love and hate in equal measure. The more people that you share the content with, the faster channels like this can grow. So thank you guys so much for that. I put a poll up today in the chat. I asked you, you can only keep one Oasis song, and you might be thinking, is that a non sequitur? No, it's not a non sequitur. It's gonna run into what we're talking about today. So you have 4 options in there, and I don't even have it pulled up, but your options are Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, Don't Look Back in Anger, and Do You Know What I Mean? Or in their case, Dia. Because they put D and then the apostrophe. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, is that actually what it's titled?
In the actual album, that's what it's titled.
Oh, okay.
These are nerds. Anyways,
what's yours?
Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Did you vote already?
I can't vote because I'm on the company computer here.
I'll vote for you. I'll just vote that one because I don't have an answer.
That is that's the preferable song.
Answer.
I mean, that I didn't come into that song till later, but when I used to steal my brother's copy of What's the Story, Morning Glory, it was Champagne Supernova.
Okay.
So
and a champagne supernova in the sky.
Mary has been blessing everybody here at the FRIDAAAAAAAAY stand with her impression of Oasis today.
That's what I was remarking earlier. You know, it's so funny how we complain about like the noise that everyone else is making now that we're not the people upstairs.
Yeah.
We used to be at the top of the building. Now we're downstairs and people make noises. They're human. And we're always complaining about it. It's like, oh, the birds, the power saws, the construction, blah, blah, blah. But I'm in here yelling my lungs out on a daily basis, pretty much. Like, I need to do it.
Very regularly.
I really do. Like, I just need to express myself.
She's got to do it. She's got to do it. So, guys, again, hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel. What are we getting into today? There's a bunch of stuff to talk about. Well, there's a cultural movement sweeping the nation. It's been inspired by Sydney Sweeney. No, what's going on right now is that Sydney Sweeney has, in fact, ignited the Denim Wars in the year 2057, when all hope is lost and society is decayed to the extent of nothingness. We are left with the Denim Wars, because after Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad campaign, we now have rival campaigns coming out from Gap and Lucky. Mary didn't even know that Lucky was a brand of jeans, but Addison Rae, other such artists are now being inspired to release denim ads. I'm sure it is completely has everything to do with Sydney Sweeney, and it's not just because denim companies make denim ads. But we'll get into it.
We have a 20 from Williams. Love the show. In relation to last night's episode, the head of the church would never support the unliving of Muslims.
You meant unaliving.
I don't know what that's referring to. I don't think we even talked about Muslims all night last night on IRL, so please clarify if you can.
So we're going to talk about Sydney Sweeney and the Denim Wars. We are also going to talk about Disney. Look, they're coming. They're crawling back, guys. They've been hammered for years and years and years. They turned Marvel and they turned Star Wars into girl brands, and now they are crawling back. But they're doing it to Gen Z. They want to get Gen Z men to watch their content again, and they're trying to figure out exactly how they're going to do that, because the only thing Disney knows how to do right now is make movies for millennials to bring their kids to. That's it. It's the only thing.
It's not going so badly for them. Like
they have all the billion-dollar movies in the last year. So,
but if everyone stops having kids, you're gonna have to figure out how to market stuff to them too, I guess.
Correct. So we're gonna talk about it. Also, the internet is abound with criticism for Millie Bobby Brown for daring to have a child, which she recently adopted, and we talked about it yesterday. But the internet is very mad because she's not going to the club.
Or they're mad at her parents for supposedly stealing her childhood from her. They're saying she's rushing into adulthood and these milestones like marriage and parenthood without having the chance to live a little as a girl in her early 20s. It's kind of sad. In this interview, she like talked about not having a lot of friends, or really not having any friends other than her husband. So yeah, we'll get into it.
We got that. We got other stuff. Make sure you vote in the poll. I don't want Wonderwall to win. I really don't. We're not that basic here at PCC. We're some basic ass bitches, apparently. So you should vote in the poll. And everybody knows that Noel Gallagher had the better experimental solo career. Anyways,
maybe we like Wonderwall and pumpkin spice lattes, and we're just basic biatches.
Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and get started then.
All right. Lil Nas X is fully crashing out right now, and I just find it funny how, like, back in 2007, when Britney Spears shaved her head and was bashing in the paparazzi car with her umbrella, that was national news, tabloid fodder for months and months on end, and those photos will live on forever. And then nowadays, a celebrity crashes out in a similar manner, or maybe worse, and it's like a flash in the pan, and people are like, oh, I forgot Lil Nas X existed. That's sad.
These crash outs were usually reserved for once they were no longer famous. And I mean, Lil Nas X isn't really the same level of fame he was in, like, was that 2017?
He was on track to be a huge star, probably on the level of, like, a Sam Smith.
When was that song? When was his big song?
Which one?
What was it?
He had many.
He had,
Old Town Road was the first.
Old Town Road.
In 2019.
What was the one after that? That's
Call Me by Your Name.
So, and that was in what year?
It might have been 2021.
Bro, we're like a lifetime away from that now. And today, in the age of the internet, he might as well be a grandpa with a huge beard down there.
It has been a while since I saw him making or promoting any new music. I've mostly seen him crashing out. Back in April, he posted about getting hospitalized for an episode of Bell's palsy, the condition in which half of your face is paralyzed. There was no explanation ever given for that. And now he has been arrested. He was supposedly high on drugs, who knows what, roaming around the streets of LA in his tighty whities. And then police were alerted to his behavior. He charged at them, which led to his arrest, and he's currently behind bars.
There he is. He's walking the catwalk.
Strutting around like a diva. I want to listen to what he's saying to the...
All right.
Who's recording him? Do people recognize him?
Don't be late to the party tonight.
Where at?
You know where it's at.
What?
Go ahead, babe. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Go ahead, babe. No, 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 no. Didn't I tell you to put the phone down?
What?
Uh-oh, somebody's gonna have to pay for that.
What is this? The boots.
Hey, for everybody coming to the party.
This is like a baby in a diaper.
I am serving you, and you better be at that party tonight. Oh, yes.
I don't want to be at the party tonight. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be wherever he's going.
Yes, get my good side. Every side. Sean Bankhead taught me.
He's just in the middle of the road. The Old Town Road.
It's like,
He's on the Old Town Road.
I do love that there's just nobody out.
There's nobody. It's a ghost town except for this person recording him. What is this?
That's gonna be a beautiful sunrise. Give me that phone so I can throw it. I want to throw it far away so you never see it again. I don't like phones.
I don't like phones.
Don't miss the party tonight. Why are you still here? You need to be telling everybody about the party, girl.
If there wasn't a party, I'm gonna be so pissed.
What's the problem?
Oh, they're following him in a car.
Yeah, what'd you think?
This is insane. I don't think the person recording knew him. I think they recognized him. But that wasn't like a friend that he was out with who was recording him for Instagram or something. But he didn't want to like actually act like he was angry at being recorded.
Yeah.
He's like, just give me that damn phone. I don't like phones.
Drugs are bad. Okay, drugs are bad.
Wow. And the same night, he was also roaming around, or rather during the daytime, he was roaming around LA wearing clothes this time. This video is from security footage in a hotel in LA. He was behaving quite erratically, dancing around the streets.
As one does.
Yeah, he just has a little pep in his step.
You know what the crazy thing is? I want to be the person at TMZ who's got the contacts with every security guard at every hotel.
How is this possible?
How did they get these security camera? How did they get the security camera footage already?
They're like better than the CIA. We can't get security footage of the Epstein cell, but we can get this.
Still have no idea about the guy that tried to kill Trump, but we have this footage.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't have the audio. We don't know what he was saying to people, but this was just earlier that day, and that's when he started taking his clothes off. You can see him sitting down in the lobby.
He's getting hot. He's literally going, he's fanning himself. You know, it's hot out.
You can see him sitting down in the lobby, and then he takes his shirt off. And this was hours before his arrest.
Yeah.
So
here he is. Look, the drugs will do that to you. I don't know what's going on with him, but the uppers, they will spike your body temperature and you will overheat.
Authorities tell TMZ that he's not getting out of jail until at least Monday morning.
Yeah.
He was arrested on suspicion of battery of a police officer and needs to go before a judge to have his bail set. And that isn't going to happen until Monday.
I love him with the cone.
Wow, the traffic cone as a hat,
as one does.
Yeah, it says he was arrested after being seen floating aimlessly down Ventura Boulevard at 4 a.m. Someone driving past him recorded him, who repeatedly pointed at the camera and muttered something about heading to a party, and at one point placing an orange traffic cone on his head. Officers responded and found him still walking down the middle of the road. And then he charged at the officers. They subdued him and put him in handcuffs. Officers told paramedics it was a possible overdose, and then he was transported to a hospital, released shortly thereafter, and then booked.
Yeah. Hopefully this isn't like that Justin Timberlake where he got the DUI and he's like, you're going to ruin the concert.
The tour.
You're going to ruin the tour.
Like, what tour?
And the guy's like, who are you?
Yeah, Lil Nas X hasn't had a lot going on for a while now, and it seems like he moved into this new house. They sell all of these blank model homes in LA for influencers and low-level celebrities, and he hasn't furnished it at all. It's completely empty, seemingly. He was seen just months ago in his house, this empty house, recording himself wearing a bonnet and ranting on social media. I wanted to show that.
Oh, I think yeah, here it is. Here we go.
Hey guys, don't look at my furniture-less house, but I want to say, because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm being flaky and very all over the place, but I was for a long time, you know? These last few years were pretty difficult for me. They have been pretty difficult for me, and I'm just now like arriving to this place of feeling confidence in myself and what I'm doing, and I'm trying to make sure I put intention towards my music and my vision and the creativity of it all. And most of all, I really want to make sure I have fun this time around. I don't think I got to have as much fun during the Montero era because I was more overly focused on, I don't know, making sure the songs did well than...
Yeah, well, that's kind of the point.
That face.
Making sure I was like having fun doing, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying I didn't have any fun. I had some fun, okay? But I want this time around to be even more fun. And I want to be like even more full of joy, and I want to be even more full of love, and I want to go out here in this world, and I want to wave my hands in the sky and move about freely. And that's what the Dream Boy era is going to be. Hotbox is coming next.
Wait, was this live or pre-recorded?
I believe that he was recording this.
Okay.
Fairly soon. I'm not going to give you guys a date. I'm going to announce it when I announce the date, okay? But I need you guys to stick beside me. We are coming. Monterey, we are coming. I have the songs. I have the music. I have the vision. You guys need to sit patiently. You've waited this far. We've waited this long. Let's keep going. Let's make this happen, okay? I love you guys so much. I'm gonna do my trust. Trust. Okay, bye.
He needs a vision of furniture for his apartment or for his house.
Don't talk about having all the music ready. Just release it when you release it.
Yep.
Clearly, he was already on something months ago, and it's just caught up to him. And he's talking about how he finally wants to have fun. How about stop having fun? Now is not the time for fun. Stop the fun.
I mean, let's
having a little too much fun.
The whole point is to make money. The whole point is not to have fun. Like, the record label is not like, just go out there and have fun.
No.
They say go out there and make us some money.
And you know what? This is why record labels have so much control over artists that people deem unfair.
Yeah.
Because artists are incredibly unpredictable, unstable people.
And flaky.
And they need to be held under contracts that, of course, are overreaching into their lives. Because you can't trust them.
Otherwise, you end up shirtless with a bonnet.
Yes! Yes! Wow.
Somebody get that boy in line.
And he is talented. You know, this is a
that's
waste
the problem.
of
Like,
his
you
potential.
need the person to rein it in. Right?
Yeah.
You need a person to harness the talent.
Right.
And keep you on track. Like, Just because you're, I was saying this the other day when I was talking about, like, why is anybody listening to James Cameron when he talks about an AI apocalypse just because he made a movie about AI? I'm like, that doesn't mean he knows anything about what he's talking about. You need somebody to rein the artist in.
Right.
They need somebody to keep them on path. That's what their manager is for, you know? They're supposed to treat their schedule like it's the freaking landing strip at some Air Force base and keep the trains moving on time so that they don't end up in a bonnet clapping.
He needs a visit from Harley Pasternak.
That's literally like our whole conversation. Here's how that all started. Like, it literally, the evil cabal one day was like, we need to keep him on track.
No,
Where's Harley?
I'm just kidding. I can't tell if this is how an artist behaves before or after a visit from Harley Pasternak.
Honestly,
given the drugs being involved.
I feel like the after visit from Harley Pasternak is more subdued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in Zombieland, that's for sure. Prayers up for Lil Nas X.
There was like cinder blocks holding stuff up in his house.
Yeah, and people were like, "What are you doing? Like, you can enjoy yourself, but
It's kind of sad.
you're like basically living in a mental asylum with these fluorescent lights and the white walls. All of the LA mansions that are newly constructed look the same."
Somebody could write a spec script on an artist who goes insane because they don't furnish a home with large ceilings and the echo of their own voice drives them nuts.
You can hear it in the video.
You could make a movie about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on.
Poor Nas. Okay.
No, don't say no. Poor Lil Nas X. Nas isn't an actual person. Nas
Sorry,
is
I won't
Illmatic
speak
is a real thing.
I won't speak on his namesake like that.
Correct.
I'll get myself in check.
These are different, vastly different things. We do not tarnish the reputation of Illmatic here. All right.
So everyone is talking about the male loneliness epidemic and what we can do to solve it. Who caused it? Are men to blame for their own loneliness? And a potential cure, according to some, is the reunion tour that Oasis is on currently. In fact, one of these tweets about the reunion tour says, "I think we found the cure for the male loneliness epidemic, and it's the Oasis reunion." And a journalist at Slate adopted that argument and went to study the culture at Wembley Stadium when Oasis was playing in their hometown. And she titled this article, "Oasis? No way, sis. My journey into the dark heart of sincere masculinity."
Before we get into this is one of the most covertly, depending on how good of a reader you are, covertly mean-spirited things you will ever read.
Hardly
in your entire
covert. It's at once praising the men who are attending these concerts for their sincerity in an extremely insincere tone.
Unbelievably insincere.
"I went to the epicenter of male vulnerability. Its location may surprise you." So this journalist begins by explaining, "Since my divorce a few years ago, I've started distancing myself from male-centric spaces and from many of my straight male friends. My life has reoriented mostly around my largely queer, often non-white female friends. And you know where those bitches are definitely not congregating? A bleeding Oasis concert, I'll tell you that."
The fact that she actually segments off her friends by sexuality and race is crazy. Like, that's the type of thing that 25 years ago would have gotten you a weird look from someone, and now it's just a matter of course.
Well, the first thing that you should know is she's fresh off of a divorce, because clearly this entire article is not about men. It's about how much she hates her ex-husband. And she starts by saying, "I don't like men. Don't get me wrong, I love men, but I don't like them very much. I remain somewhat synonymous with disliking men personally and professionally. I've disliked them on the internet, in my books, on the streets, and in the sheets. You name the time and place, I'm there with a complaint about some nightmare named Ryan who probably sucks. That's your fault. I do actually have a lot of straight male friends. I have a soft spot for boys. They're cute. They love their disgusting little beers, their football games, and their ugly Apple Watch bands. These days, I struggle to find sincerity in my conversations with a lot of straight men. The worst of them are stuck in feedback loops of irony or self-avoidance, or worse, they want to talk about podcasts."
Wait, so is her feedback loop sexism, racism, and wokeness? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's definitely stuck in a feedback loop of her own. So she talks about going to one of the Oasis concerts at Wembley Stadium that sold out. Like nearly 100,000 people attended 7 nights for them, which is crazy in 2025. And she posits, year after year, women and sociologists alike tried to come up with solutions to the male loneliness epidemic. Do they need to play sports, listen to Theo Von, eat more protein? The Oasis show provided at least one answer. They need to be with their buddies, crying to songs that came out before the advent of the iPhone.
There's a 20 there.
From
Grunmeister.
The Cure is called Thursday. They are a company combating dating apps by forcing people to meet their matches in person. Went to a mixer last night and it went amazing. I feel like my match and I made a real connection. Is this a sponsored super chat?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Is this an ad for Thursday?
Good
I don't know.
you.
Maybe we'll look into that and talk about it if it's gaining traction. She says, my grasp of Oasis is tangential at best, but my male friends speak the band's language like a private Rosetta Stone. And then she says, Oasis is a somewhat surprising band to chart a return at a complex moment. Their return is a piece of nostalgia, which we're always seeking culturally, though usually for and by women. She mentions Sex and the City getting its reboot.
It's also generational.
The Pamela Anderson revival and Lindsay Lohan returning to Freaky Friday. But Oasis...
I said yes. I was reading this article today because apparently they're doing a Dawson's Creek... a Dawson's Creek reunion where they're all getting together to raise money for cancer because James Van Der Beek, who's one of the stars of the show, has like stage 3 colon cancer or something like that. And they were like going through the comments, and one of them was like, this is what us millennials need right now. I'm like, no, you need literally anything else. You need a hobby, you need family, you need friends, you need loved ones, you need a long drive at night with the windows down. You need literally anything other than the weird parasocial connection you feel because people who made a TV show 25 years ago that have never met you in your life are getting back together.
She says Oasis always spoke to straight men, and namely straight white British men of a certain economic bracket.
I don't know what that means because back in the 90s, nobody thought about things in this context because the progressive Marxism wasn't as bad as it is now. I don't know who is the idea that they spoke to working class men?
I suppose that's
is
her
the idea
implication.
Supposed to be that they spoke to like men that were poor? What are you talking about?
Yeah. But she's praising Oasis and their reunion tour specifically for their unmistakable sincerity. And I think maybe she's implying people aren't as nostalgic for the songs as they are for the time in which they were relevant. Thank you.
I mean, so there people are nostalgic for the sincerity of it all.
Yes.
I mean, that's true. That was like one of the critiques that we had, you and me, when we watched Barbie was how they critiqued the song, like him playing the song on the guitar.
Right.
And that they just laugh in the face of anything authentic.
Yes. The serenade scene.
Any earnestness is laughed at.
This serenade scene in Barbie takes the exact same tone as this article.
Yeah.
And she mentions the fact that back in the 90s, it was seen as like super cringe to wear the merch of the band that you're seeing in concert. And at this concert she attended, everyone was decked out in Oasis merch. She says this was the era's tour for men whose fathers punched them on the arm on their wedding day. I'll
have to find out whether my dad does that.
Yeah, don't mention it. Just see if it happens. Just test it. And she said, instead of trafficking in violence or aggression or fear, male Oasis fans seemed excited to feel seen by the Gallaghers and by each other. They made friends with strangers next to them, offered vape hits, politely shuffled to get a drink after the opening act. How sweet to see men in their joy. If a grotesque little IPA delights your loser boyfriend, imagine tens upon tens of thousands of loser boyfriends crying alongside each other to fade away, sloshing half of that 9-pound beer down my tube top.
Again, we'll get more into it, but what I've learned is, like, 3 years ago, I would have found this article infuriating. Now I just kind of feel bad for her.
Yeah, she's clearly a miserable
Like, she
person.
seems miserable and unwell.
Mm-hmm. And here was her conclusion. Witnessing this swell of male emotionality doesn't make me want to like men more. It doesn't make me want to take it easier on them or to be more generous in their failings. No. Instead, it's proof of exactly how much men are capable of. They do have versions of intimacy, of sentimentality, warmth, community. It seemed pretty fun, a far cry from the disenfranchised grumblings of the manosphere online. Men are capable of more, and still faced with a bar so low, they usually trip over it, break their own noses, and blame their wives. So you're clearly just subtweeting your ex-husband right now.
She seems very angry at a very specific person and taking it out on the rest of us who just want to listen to Champagne Supernova.
Look how easy it was for them to access that soft animal part of themselves. Look how simple and safe it was for a football stadium full of men to touch the underbelly of their own vulnerabilities. So that's the secret ingredient in it all, is getting men to cry. That's how we fix the male loneliness epidemic. Doesn't matter how or why it's happening. We just need men to cry.
Which, of course, people know is not real the second that you do, especially if it's not for a really valid reason, like the death of your dad or your mom. She's going to get the ick, and she's going to run the opposite way.
I saw several takes from women on Twitter about the Oasis concerts and men crying at the concerts. One said, "They're totally not my band like that, but all the videos of men crying at Oasis shows melt my heart. The two brothers who have been at each other's throats for decades are going to solve the male loneliness epidemic." Another one who attended the Oasis tour said, "I'm being so genuine. I have never seen so many straight men kiss each other. The cure for male loneliness is Oasis." So the cure for male loneliness is not only getting men to cry, but also getting men to kiss each other. So they just need to be homosexual, blubbering messes, and that will fix
because they inherently hate straight
and
male.
Yes. Like, they, in order to fix the male loneliness epidemic, they need to stop being male.
Yeah.
I did see one tweet from a man who attended the reunion tour saying, I'll read it in his accent. "Oasis, best 2 hours of my life. Crying my eyes out with my mum next to me 30 years after she got me a guitar to play Oasis songs on Christmas morning 1995. Unbelievable. What bliss to be alive. X." They love ending tweets with X. So he was crying, and it seemed to be a fulfilling experience for him. I don't know. No one is saying, I don't think anyone ever thought or said that, like, men crying is somehow universally unacceptable.
Well, it's a conversation that's supposed to be approached with nuance, but nuance doesn't actually work on the internet.
Yeah, I feel like women are misdiagnosing and mistreating the male loneliness epidemic. The best thing that you can do for the male loneliness epidemic is just leaving men alone so they can handle it on their own. Yeah,
they have their own hobbies. They have their own interests. Oddly enough, you probably shouldn't have been there, especially since you don't like the band Oasis. You were looking at it from some type of third-party perspective, where if it was a band you liked, you might actually get wrapped up in the performance itself and not be looking at the men like there's some weird Nat Geo experiment. It would be like a guy who doesn't like Taylor Swift going to a Taylor Swift show.
Oh, which they shouldn't.
And and diagnosing the mental illness running rampant at one of her shows.
Right.
You know, as Mary said earlier about Luce, let people enjoy things.
I just think, like, the same way a man attending the Eras concert and writing a think piece like this, I would denounce in the same way.
Yeah.
And ironically, she was attending the Oasis tour with a group of all straight male friends. She was the only woman there.
Clearly, when she and of course the straight male friends have better things to do than read the articles she writes, because if they did, they wouldn't be friends with her because she's a cunt.
The straight male friends of hers included her in this group that was going to the Oasis tour. Mm-hmm. You being there is kind of part of the problem, right? Because men aren't allowed to have their own spaces. I hate the word spaces because
not
it's
even
like
that.
Everybody's talking about like
the problem
holding space, but like women being in male spaces is literally one of the main reasons why the male loneliness epidemic exists.
Yes. No, in this case, I'm saying it's more that clearly she has a bunch of male friends that prove that men are not that awful, but she has a hard time separating them from the rest of the populace, which she somehow can separate it from them, but then every other man is painted with the same brush.
Mm-hmm. There are the exceptions to the rule.
Somehow she met the 6 good men in the entire world, and everybody else is just awful. I mean, like I said, a couple of years ago, I might be angry about this. Now I just kind of feel bad for her. She seems lonely and sad, and she wraps it in some faux intellectual language that's designed to make her feel better about her own hatred of people that have, immutable characteristics.
We'd spend our time better thinking of solutions for the female divorcee journalist loneliness epidemic that she's clearly suffering.
All right. I don't know if maybe she should try Coldplay next.
Yeah.
Between the kiss cam, there's clearly lots of couples at the Coldplay concert. If she's looking for like positive examples of male and female connection, she should go to the Coldplay concert instead.
If she had a boyfriend, she would.
Man, that husband dodged a bullet. He was like Neo from The Matrix.
I bet she's written, confessional essays about her divorce, too.
I have no doubt. All right, let's move on. What would you like to see first, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's start with the cringe.
Cringe first? Okay, here we go.
It's a good one.
It's a good one today?
Speaking of divorce and marriage,
you said
this is an interpretive dance.
Okay.
Feminist interpretive dance.
Is the institution of marriage beneficial to women? No. Why would a patriarchal society create an institution that was designed for the benefit of women? That actually doesn't make any sense. Before capitalism and before the state, people lived in communities and not just people being sequestered in little ticky-tacky boxes alone in their little tiny families. The lack of genuine community keeps us vulnerable, it keeps us controllable, and it's also actively dangerous for women. When you separate women from each other and then you put them alone with a man who can also be her greatest threat, she is more likely to be abused because no one is watching. When women live amongst other women, they are physically safer and emotionally more supported. The patriarchy is why women are given the emotional burden of being the people who are containing the family and doing all that invisible labor. I can't see it, but it's everywhere. The isolation of the family is part of a capitalist agenda. When women are overworked and they're in dangerous situations, they're not going to be able to do what they're here to do on the planet. If they're spending all their time tending to the men and the children, then how are they going to have the time and energy to do the things that they are destined to be doing?
Oh, like this?
Beyond being a caretaker. When you exhaust the women, you exhaust the feminine in society and the feminine influence.
So what is the feminine influence then?
This is it.
I know a lot of you men are like, but what about divorce? The women get everything when there is a divorce. The financial aspect of a divorce is not about benefiting women, but creating a scenario where men are more deeply embedded within their capitalist nightmare.
Wait, so she's saying that divorce isn't about benefiting women, it's about making sure men understand that they're stuck in a nightmare of capitalism? I always suspected. This lady's smart. Can we just go home?
We give up.
Marriage isn't about...
I wonder who built that cabin or wherever she is.
If marriage is preventing women from their destiny of performing interpretive dance on Instagram, I'm all for it.
It could be worse. It could have been slam poetry. Like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like this take that I just saw here.
Because everyone knows when you get married, you just stop having friends.
Easy
right?
in the chat says divorce is venture capitalism for women. There you go. There you go. Okay. All right. Let's do cute of the day. This is from above ground level. Here's Riley, my 5-year-old husky. She really wants to show her toy walrus that she turned into a potato.
I'm still like reeling from that.
Riley would never put up with a patriarchal system that uses divorce as a weapon to show men that we live in a capitalist nightmare, fulfilling their divine feminine destiny
Of twerking on Instagram.
and all of their unseen labor.
It's there, but I can't see it.
Is that emotional labor that women are always complaining about?
Invisible labor. Invisible labor.
It's you can't see it. You can't see it. All right. Let's just move on. What the fuck?
Okay, sorry about that. I told you it was gonna be good. I said the cringe today is so good, and by that I mean bad.
I do want to point out that I might be unflappable, given the fact that I was forced to endure that Oasis article and that cringe back to back. I've got
really armored you for the rest of the show.
I've got my Iron Man anti-feminist armor on that's going to prevent me from falling into a capitalist nightmare, perpetuating patriarchal systems that hold back the divine feminine from women who are looking to evoke a feeling of sentimentality between the genders.
Right.
Or whatever that means.
Speaking of feminism and capitalism, Sydney Sweeney recently sat down for an interview with the Wall Street Journal to mainly discuss her business acumen. And in that article, she commented on the backlash to her Dr. Squatch Sydney's Bathwater Bliss bathwater soap. And here is what she had to say. She basically implied that the backlash was mainly from other women and that it applied a sexist double standard to her. She said it was mainly the girls making comments about it, which I thought was really interesting. They all loved the idea of Jacob Elordi's bathwater. And in that comment, she is referring to the movie Saltburn and all of the memes about Jacob Elordi's bathwater that stemmed from the movie. And I believe Barry Keoghan was also in that movie, seen humping the dirt of someone's grave. She did clarify that she pays very close attention to the online conversation that takes place around her, but doesn't let it bother her. Quote, I think it's important to have a finger on the pulse of what people are saying because everything is a conversation with the audience. And they ask her that, basically, are you thinking strategically about the business deals that you take, including the Dr. Squatch ones? Because mainly what people were saying about the Dr. Squatch ads is, wow, she must be desperate. She's not thinking about how this will reflect on her public image. She said, yes, grinning, very. She's thinking very strategically about her business. And another question they asked her was about her production company called 50/50 that she started with her now ex-fiance, Jonathan Davino, who is a restaurateur. And they asked her, due to the fact that they recently split up, are you going to keep working with him in a professional capacity despite your breakup? And she completely declined to comment and said, I'm keeping the personal stuff out of this.
I mean, a lot of celebrities would do well to just say, no comment.
Yeah. And she also was speaking about how she holds her own in business meetings, and she's very blunt and decisive and states what she wants. And she has her schedule basically locked in for the next 3 to 4 years with upcoming roles and business sponsorships.
She seems very calculated in
Yes.
that she's, again, I always go back to that claim that I read that she had to present her parents with like a 5-part, 5-year business plan about what she was going to do if she became an actor to allow her to move to California. So from a young age, she was probably, what's the word, industrious and
Right.
wanted this career,
Right.
and she is now pushing forward. And so actually, the more you learn about her, the more that marriage was never going to happen.
With Jonathan Davino.
Yeah, it was just never going to happen.
I
Just
mean,
too busy.
He's a business owner. He must understand that her work is demanding as well. But she did say that the reason for their breakup was because she needed to focus on work.
Yeah. And it goes beyond just bathwater, though.
Right.
Did you sent me this? I did decide to bring this up here. This is real. Mary sent it to me. It's available on Walmart.com. Sydney Sweeney's Toilet Piss Bliss. Limited edition natural men's soap.
Medium grit.
Medium grit. And then also, I have no idea if this is real because this is just a screenshot. I know the one Mary sent is real. Sydney's Bloody Bliss. Period blood. Medium grit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm fake news. I don't know if that one's real or not. But I can't help but
The Walmart listing is real. Like,
The
I
Walmart
looked at the
one,
link. It's an
yes.
active link, and you can buy, supposedly, soap infused with Sydney Sweeney's pee.
And apparently period blood.
She needs to
It's
get
very feminist.
Get her legal team on that, because that was not authorized. And
She's like,
Walmart.
wait, where did you get the actual period
A lot
blood?
of people don't know this, but Walmart is an open marketplace the same way that Amazon is, and people are just allowed to put up like whatever AI generated bullshit they want. Anyway, in response to the infamous American Eagle campaign that she did, it seems now that this is the new meta for pop stars and actresses alike. Now, Gap has released a campaign with Cat's Eye, which, if you weren't aware, is a girl group. Basically, to explain Cat's Eye, there were a bunch of American music executives in suits looking at all the success of these K-pop groups, and they thought, we have to get on this. We have to make our own K-pop group of Americans. So the women who are in Cat's Eye are from multiple different nations, or American members, at least one from the Philippines, one from South Korea, and
what do you think they talk about when they're not
it's
performing?
diverse.
What do you think they talk about? They've got nothing in common other than their music.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they don't really need to be friends.
Yeah.
That's kind of the allure of it all, is that they all blend together. But this is a diverse, Americanized version of a K-pop girl group, and they just
Britain had
did
this
a
in the
commercial
90s
for
called the Spice Girls.
Right. They did a commercial for Gap Denim together. As you can see, they're in the same, liminal space with this
Same
white
liminal
background.
space.
The white background, they're in nowhere land, dancing in their jeans. They're very breathable, I'm sure. And this is a sign that Sydney Sweeney is the blueprint, and people are following suit. However, as you pointed out off air, this commercial was probably in the works months before the American Eagle ad came out.
Beyonce already had
And
her denim
Beyonce's
jean.
Levi's campaign.
Celebrities have had denim jean campaigns for as long as celebrities have existed and jeans have existed in the same space. Sorry, the same liminal space.
One person theorized that the ad was scripted as a target against the American Eagle ad, saying, "This is denim as you define it, your individuality, your self-expression, your style, powerful on your own, even better together."
Literally, it's the same thing that American Eagle said when they reacted to the Sydney Sweeney backlash. Her jeans, her story.
Right.
Making her story.
It's about jeans and nothing more.
Yep.
And Addison Rae has now also launched a sponsorship with Lucky Jeans. She is an up-and-coming pop star, and she is promoting ultra low-rise Addison jeans.
Mary says she'll believe it when she sees it.
Yeah, but they are. I for what it's worth, I will say, the jeans that Sydney Sweeney was promoting for American Eagle were fugly. They look awful on literally everyone. They're only going to look not fugly on someone who is attractive, like Sydney Sweeney, and they didn't do her any favors either.
The
jeans that Addison Rae is modeling actually look good on the average person if you're not a fat tub of lard.
The top comment in the Addison Rae one says, I have a teenage daughter, so if we could delay the return of low-rise jeans for just 3 years, I would appreciate it. Thanks in advance, everyone.
Nope. It has to happen. I was just complaining about this on Instagram today. That what is considered low rise in 2025 is not nearly the same thing that low rise was in the 2000s. If you look up low rise jeans and just see the first results that come up on mainstream retailers, they're showing you jeans that are high waisted and calling them low rise. And it infuriates me. At least I can say for Addison Rae's jeans, they are actually low rise. 1
in 3 adults are overweight. 1 in 4 women are overweight. More than 2 in 5 adults are obese, and that includes severe obesity. Low-rise jeans will never make the comeback they want them to make because too many people are fat. I'm sorry.
But it doesn't make sense because if you're overweight or obese, wearing high-rise jeans isn't going to hide that or flatter it. If anything, wouldn't you look better in low-rise jeans that actually fit you?
No. High-rise jeans were designed to like hide the paunch.
But they don't. That's the thing I'm saying. They don't hide anything. In fact, if anything, they highlight the paunch. So I think low-rise should make a comeback for everyone, regardless of whether you're fat.
No.
You shouldn't be fat, but they would look better on you than the high-waisted.
I think that the high-waisted ones are designed, in their opinion, to hide it better.
Go to the Harper's Bazaar piece about Addison Rae's ad campaign. You can see she's wearing jeans that are actually low-rise. I have to give them credit for giving the people what they want, you know. And then go to the product page. It's at the end. Pull up. It's above these. The products page is linked there.
This one here?
Yeah. And it's modeled, and you can see they are actually low-rise jeans. These are almost impossible to come by in current year.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have to give her credit for that. The jeans that they put Sydney Sweeney in were a crime against jeans.
It's the jean wars have started. I don't know if the trends are going to stop that quickly, though. If it's going to turn around that fast.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, is this ad campaign going to take off this year, or will it take a couple of years for the fashion for low-rise jeans to come back?
I mean, everyone has been talking about how low-rise is back, but it needs to actually come back, you know? Like, I haven't seen the evidence yet. The problem with Sydney Sweeney's ad campaign is that it didn't sell any jeans.
So that was my
it sold shares.
that was my supposition. Okay, look, there was also some work on behalf of media that clearly doesn't like her, and we did cover it about articles that were like no increased foot traffic, but it was like it was they were pulling from the time period in like the summer, or like there wasn't anybody in the stores at all at that time of year, and it was down amongst all stores, not just American Eagle, but they were trying to point to American Eagle as if it was their fault that they released a Sydney Sweeney ad, and then people were like, why I'm not going into your store anymore. No, it was down in malls and places all around, because it's always down in malls and places all around. It did sell shares. Somebody did tell me at some point that there was an article from Forbes that said that the Sydney Sweeney jeans specifically sold out. I wasn't able to corroborate that, but I don't know.
All of these retailers scam us. When you see something that has sold out, this is well known, especially in the cosmetics industry. They just stage sellouts. They stage it. They have plenty of product available, and they only sell a select amount of it so that they can get the PR boost of saying we sold out.
It's like when a
then,
book retailer buys copies of their own books, so they can call it a bestseller.
Exactly. And then moving on to the next stage of the marketing plan where people are hyping up for the restock, right? So who knows how many pairs of actual jeans they sold, but it's not worth arguing about because the jeans suck. The jeans that they put Sydney Sweeney in were awful, and there's no arguing with that. Yeah. The ad campaign clearly did well for their brand value, but it did not sell any product.
I mean, I'm guessing they think of that as a two-pronged solution, that it takes time once it reinvigorates the brand as far as name recognition, then that's supposed to draw people back into the store. I don't know if they sell a lot online, but maybe they're hoping that it increases digital sales. But
a good start for selling jeans is making jeans that are not fugly. And they have not done that.
That would be good. All right, let's do some Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, Brett and Mary. We made it. We survived the bats that turned out to be birds and the YouTube shenanigans with minimal casualties. Good job. It has been a long week."
It has been a long week. That's why we need a second crisis party.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Luce over Labubu. St. John Bosco would be so disappointed at the Luce hate. Run, jump, shout, but do not sin. In other words, have fun, but don't sin." Exactly. Yeah, and he would also hate Labubus. Thomas Williams said, oh, I missed this other 20 that you sent.
Nope.
When it comes to the crusade of the UK, as the head is a Islam apologist? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Corey Anderson said, "I'm all for invading the UK, but Dearborn, Michigan and Minneapolis, Minnesota are first. Someone get Trump on the phone."
Okay. All right.
Those places have definitely been colonized. That's for sure.
All right. Let's move on. We got more to talk about.
Yeah. Disney is having some boy trouble. So says Variety in a new report. Disney is desperate for pitching ideas that will appeal to specifically the Gen Z male audience, which they define as men between the ages of 13 and 28 years old. They aren't just looking to revive the franchises that they have decisively killed over the years, like Star Wars or Marvel. They're looking for original IP pitched from Hollywood studios that's going to get young men into theaters.
That might have been the most interesting part about this whole thing, was the discussion about saying that Bob Iger lying, saying that we won't favor existing IP. Yes, you will. We know that they will. They're lying about that. But saying that they want original concepts. And then they also talk about the idea of like the viral types of movies, meaning Minions, Rise of Gru, Minecraft, how it got Gen Z men into the theaters and energized. You
maybe
mentioned
FNAF.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's did that as well, and that was a movie that came out on Peacock the same day that it came out in theaters, and it still did over $100 million at the box office when it came out. And they're desperate because they know that the millennials, they had $4 billion movies like in the last couple of years. So they had Lilo and Stitch, they had Moana 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Inside Out 2. All sequels except for Lilo and Stitch, which is, of course, a live-action remake. Deadpool is a third in a series. The other ones are sequels. And that preys on millennials who are nostalgic about those properties and then bring their young kids to go see them, which is a vastly different audience, and you can't cater to that forever. And they have turned Marvel and Star Wars into girl brands. And just off the top of my head, I was thinking about all of the things that Marvel did that lent that way. So it's not just Captain Marvel getting the role of the most powerful character in the MCU and then slotted right between Infinity War and Endgame, which signaled that. It was the Eternals, which had a sex scene in it, which didn't need to be there, which felt like this weird, it felt derivative of YA novels and its boringness and how stupid it was. And then there was Wakanda Forever, which didn't recast T'Challa, favoring instead to choose Shuri. There was Ant-Man and the Wasp, which became a lot less about Ant-Man and a lot more about Wasp and, of course, his daughter, which became the activist. She-Hulk, need I say more? Agatha All Along. You know, I loved Agatha All Along, but I don't expect other people to love Agatha All Along. Echo, Miss Marvel, which despite the fact that Iman Vellani is the most charismatic and endearing of the actors working at Marvel now, was marketing to a group of people that don't care, meaning it was for Gen Z women or even younger, perhaps, that just don't have an interest in watching Marvel properties. It doesn't matter to them at all. And then Star Wars, of course, it goes all the way back to Kathleen Kennedy and The Force is Female, and changing the sequel trilogy to be focused on Rey when they could have had it on other characters. So,
and it is quite remarkable how Disney has been on such a roll hiring actresses who are so annoying.
Yes.
Just one after the other. Daisy Ridley
4.
notwithstanding.
You left one out too, but go ahead.
Okay. Daisy Ridley is fine. She's not annoying. I've never seen her make some kind of PR blunder, but with Brie Larson, Amanda Stenberg, and Rachel Zegler in no particular order, they also need to vet their talent more, because all of them were exceptionally annoying on press runs.
Okay, maybe not on press runs, but don't forget Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Indiana Jones, who people dislike on principle.
She got less flack than the other three.
She wasn't as annoying as the other ones.
Right, so that's another problem. But they say leadership at Walt Disney Studios has been pressing Hollywood creatives in recent months for movies that will bring young men back to the brand in a meaningful way. Every film studio is looking for better ways to convert young audiences into habitual moviegoers. Numerous studies show that Gen Z men, in particular, are a lonely, gaming-obsessed group who were hampered in their formative years by the COVID-19 lockdowns.
Weird how during COVID, nobody seemed to be willing to admit that what they were doing to people was going to have lasting effects. Now it's just considered common knowledge.
Right. What's surprising producers, writers, and other partners in the industry is that Disney has been calling for original concepts to lure the demo back to the movies.
They mention global adventures and treasure hunts. Okay. Let's fucking go.
If we're talking about the age group of 13 to 28, though, the idea that they need to be brought back implies that they ever were habitual moviegoers in the first place, which they weren't. And also, if the economy is any predictor of how this will go for them, they're not going to get Gen Z men in theaters. It's too damn expensive.
It's also funny that they mention that, like, it's been so bad for so long. They mention it's been so long since they had content for males, like Pirates of the Caribbean. No, not that Margot Robbie reboot we were talking about. So they're already talking about how this walking skin suit of the female-led reboot is still there because they want to bring Johnny Depp back, and they had Orlando Bloom saying recently, like, unless the whole cast comes back, we're not going to do it.
Marvel and Lucasfilm have sated men of all ages over almost 2 decades since the company acquired them. Sources say Disney has been seeking new IP and pitches such as splashy global adventures and treasure hunts, as well as seasonal fare-like films for the Halloween corridor.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing... when I think of that, I don't think of horror movies necessarily as I do FNAF. Like, I think of, like, maybe making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie something that you release around the Halloween season as a good idea.
Was it released around Halloween?
I don't know. I'm just saying that in my mind, in my head canon, that works as a good idea. Yeah. They also mentioned that Disney a while ago bought a majority stake in Fortnite, but they don't have the movie rights. That's what they should be doing.
That's a miss.
Make the Fortnite movie. I support the idea of global adventures and treasure hunts for movies. Remember they made Uncharted in 2022 and it should have made way more money, but it didn't because nobody felt that Tom Holland really represented the character of Nathan Drake all that well, even though I thought the movie was perfectly fine. But I didn't play the Uncharted games, just like people who will go see the first Tomb Raider movie don't really care because Angelina Jolie was great and maybe they didn't play Tomb Raider on PlayStation.
So they do mention the meme quality of movies that catch Gen Z male attention. And basically, Gen Z men will go to a movie to make fun of the idea that they're going to the movie in earnest, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
For the Minecraft movie in particular, filming themselves having these insane emotional outbursts over key moments in the film, they're making fun of the idea that they're excited to see the movie, but the ticket sales are ticket sales nonetheless. They say built-in interest is not nearly as guaranteed for the Gen Z male audience, which propelled Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie to a nearly $1 billion haul. That was a game Gen Z played as very small kids, not to mention the viral moments it created for young men, filming moments inside multiplexes, sharing them on platforms like TikTok. See also the Universal Pictures Gentle Minions trend in 2022, where Gen Z bros packed theaters in suits and ties. But when that happened, they were kicked out of the theaters.
Yes.
They weren't even allowed to engage in their own fun little trend.
The female version of this is the sing-alongs for Wicked.
Right,
for
exactly. Or dressing up in pink to go see Barbie.
Yeah.
They're allowed to do that, even though it's just as disruptive to sing along to a musical movie as it is to scream in the theater and throw your popcorn in the middle of the Minecraft movie.
I did see somebody in the chat mention Primitive War. I do want to see Primitive War. I'm debating on it, and then people were mad at me because they're like, oh, women in the special forces, that's not believable. I'm like, well, they're fighting dinosaurs, so it's not really believable.
I think they should have maybe mentioned Oppenheimer as a movie that it did propel some interest from Gen Z men. Maybe mostly millennial men, but
I think that's mostly
the Barbenheimer of it all
Yeah.
was a factor that can't be ignored.
Yeah.
And one top film executive at Disney, at a Disney rival studio, says every studio should be looking for originals as sequels and reboots continue to exhaust the culture, even if they're packing in moviegoers for the short term. I never thought I'd say it, but it looks like Disney is going to have to start trying.
I mean, there's speaking purely from a consumer standpoint, from somebody who pays attention to the news and the way that these movies are received when they make changes to it. I understand that the reason for choosing built-in IP, or I'm sorry, a traditional IP, is that there's a built-in audience and name recognition. And to most CEOs in these companies, that's considered invaluable. But you look at the movies that fail these days because of the changes they make to the source material. I off the top of my head, I can think of choosing to do a Sam Wilson Captain America movie, even though people can say, yes, it happened in the comics. It doesn't matter. People know who the Captain America everybody knows is, and that's Steve Rogers. There is so much more to be gained from creating something new with none of that baggage. With none of the baggage about race swaps, with none of the baggage about changes to the source material, or at the very least choosing source material that's so unique that the average person isn't going to know enough about it to know that it's being changed. Mm-hmm. And there's just a lot more to be gained from choosing movies like that. F1 was my favorite movie of the year this year, and it had nothing to do with any of these other franchises that they tried to launch into the stratosphere, whether it's, Thunderbolts or Superman or Fantastic Four or any of the other super comic slop that they tried to put on the big screen. My favorite movie of the year was F1. And if the thing is, that movie cost a lot of money to make. You can make movies for less than that are going to be interesting to people that aren't going to have the baggage, and they should be doing that.
Did you think that the American Psycho reboot would get some interest from Gen Z men?
That's going to depend heavily on how seriously they take the movie.
Well, it's sort of a dark comedy anyway, but they recast him with Austin Butler, and it's still in development right now. And people are worried about what they're going to do to the story because obviously it's not the year 2000 anymore. Yeah. And it's, offensive and misogynistic and glorifies violence against women, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but the thing is like, it's actually like, you can say that that's true and all, but it's right in line with internet culture. Bateman memes rule the internet on any given day.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we're looking at like movies that haven't come out yet that are probably going to interest Gen Z men, the American Psycho reboot definitely will. Yeah. Especially if they can also put in showings of the original American Psycho in the slot before the reboot comes out. Yeah. One of the tweets reacting to this headline about Disney's boy trouble said, jokingly, if only there was some way for Hollywood to crack the code on the eternal sphinx-like mystery of what subject matter appeals to 17-year-old boys. And he followed up saying, me strolling into Disney HQ with my completed screenplay for Tits Force 8 Operation Car Crash. So is he basically saying that in order to appeal to Gen Z men, they need to ramp up the hot women and violence?
Yes. I mean, that appeals to all men.
Okay.
Sorry.
But Gen Z men are such an anomaly. I'm not sure you can even rely on that formula anymore. And like the main problem that no one is addressing, especially in the Variety report, is obviously that so much of the executive class at Hollywood studios, including Disney, loathe men, especially young men. And they even kind of included a barb there about how they're gaming obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like they can't help themselves.
They're just stuck in their rooms playing their video games.
Exactly.
We get a 20 there.
From Pop Culture Junkie, Marvel's decline can be traced to an 8-year-old 50K research study with biased questions to elicit the desired answers. Goal, attract more women without turning off men. The results told them what they needed to hear.
And that kind of brings me to my point. I saved the Variety tweet about this, and I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 on people dunking on Disney and Marvel here. Chris Gore says Disney turning Star Wars and Marvel from a boy brand into a girl brand will prove to be the costliest decision in movie history. Verbal Riot says it's almost like that they were warned over and over by men, and they still told men that they don't care if they watch their movies or not. George Alexopoulos says Star Wars is popular among young men. They should buy Lucasfilm and make some of those. Cosmic Book News says, is that Obama in the pic? And Spooky JB, shout out to JB Spooky Reviews. You should go follow him on YouTube. He's great. Says they bought 2 boy brands, Star Wars and Marvel, and ran them into the ground in favor of bringing in women that generally don't care about this stuff. Yes, that is 100% true.
This is a video that I'm about to put out on Instagram about the interests that girls had in the 2000s, which were just allowed to be theirs. So that includes like teeny bopper pop stars like Justin Bieber and a franchise like Twilight. No one wanted Twilight to be mass appeal. Everyone knew it was for girls, and that was just fine. Nobody at the time had this strange conceit about wanting to make entertainment that can appeal to everyone.
You know who ruined it?
And as soon as that was attempted, we've learned since then, and hopefully seemingly Disney has learned since then, no one is interested in content that is supposedly made for everyone.
You know who ruined it? It was Harry Potter, because the interest was almost equal across the board. Boys and girls both loved Harry Potter.
That can be achieved with fantasy genre, yeah.
It says, I'm building a team.
You know what? It's all because of Kathleen Kennedy being lame and woke.
It's put a chick in it. Make it less gay.
Maybe Bob Iger watched that special. And
I believe that he did.
He was humbled.
I don't know if he was humbled, but I do believe
he looked himself in the mirror and he put his index finger on the mirror and he said, "Fix it, Bob."
Like in my head canon, Bob Iger does that in his free time. He goes into his private bathroom in the office and he pumps his chest out and he talks to himself.
He actually has the Patrick Bateman chemical peel every morning.
I hope so. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
New Guy Don't Haze Me said, honorable mention Oasis song, Don't Go Away.
Okay.
So I haven't heard it. I have only heard Wonderwall and Champagne Supernova and the one you were playing earlier. Yep. What was that one?
That was, do you know what I mean? You know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
All my people right here, right now. High Voltage 75.
She was doing a much more accurate impersonation earlier. It was also much
I'm really
more,
good at that.
Yes, she is.
I am. High Voltage 75 said that boy needs Jesus.
Yeah.
He sure does. Yeah, but he gave himself over to the devil, sadly. And these are the consequences. Greg Duvier said Lil Nas X was told to be gay and worship Satan. Not surprised for that behavior. The entertainment industry has a way to warp young entertainers' mind.
Look, I understand the point of that, but sometimes it's just drugs. Sometimes it's not a cabal of evil men in cloaks and masks. Sometimes the dude just did a bunch of meth or a bunch of Adderall and shit, you know, and other such drugs, and you overheat and start walking in the street. It's not always the evil cabal of Satanist pedos. Sometimes it's just drugs.
So true. So true.
Like, it would be, I mean, like, in my head canon, it would also be cooler if it was an evil cabal of Satanists in masks and cloaks around a perpetually burning flame. But life is rarely that interesting.
Is this a humiliation ritual?
Yeah. Like, nah, bro, just snorted one too many lines or freebased a little bit too much crack. And
what is freebased?
I'll explain it to you.
Okay. He
fun.
boofed one too many. All right.
He did.
No, but I mean, I do think that when you, contrary to what you were saying, like, I do think that, like, obviously drugs are the main factor here. But I do think that when you make such declarations about giving yourself over to the devil, that is taken in a very legalistic way. When demons are listening, they, even if you don't mean what you say, they are allowed to
interpret it that way.
They're allowed to take that as permission. And I do think that there is something demonic at play as well that we're observing in his life.
Well, look, there's plenty of people that will give you you can have the intellectual discussion about a person in the throes of addiction at their worst sometimes seems to be like a demon, you know, like someone possessed by a demon because of the awful things those chemicals make you do. But then you have to get into the discussion with people who talk about, because then it breaks down and it becomes about, somebody who wants to, you know, poo-poo that will say, well, that's just you absolving them of their responsibility. And that, how do you cure a demon? How do you get out of that? No, that's not what you're saying. You're saying that their behavior seems as if they've been taken over by a demon. It does not absolve you of your responsibility to better yourself and to free yourself of your demons. But it's a whole thing. And my hope is that Lil Nas X gets away from either the crack cocaine, the meth, or the evil Satanist pedos. Whichever one caused it, I hope he gets away from all of them.
Satan?
What if it was Satan? If it was meth? Whichever one it is, I hope he gets away from.
Or both.
It
could always be both.
Or maybe he just likes dancing in the street at 3 in the morning.
If we find out after Lil Nas X posts bail that he did all of this sober, then we'll know it's Satan.
No.
At that point, we'll know.
Then I'm like,
Satan.
the bro was born to perform.
Like, he clearly has a hunger for the stage.
Yes.
He needs to go back on tour. Grunmeister said, nope, just one of those lonely guys who took a chance. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Or what that's referring to. Sorry. Andy Bobandy said, just brought Andy Jr. home from the hospital. Mom is taking a nap, so I'm introducing him to PCC at just 8 days old. He seems soothed by Mary's voice.
Congratulations.
Everyone is soothed by my Wonderwall impression. I'm famous for that. Well, congrats.
Congratulations.
Brian Bledsoe said Lil Nas X in the next Crisis Party song. I like the part where he said, I don't like phones. Like, honestly, same. I don't like phones.
Yeah.
I really don't. So he was kind of spitting there.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back after. Let's move on.
The response to Millie Bobby Brown's announcement that she has just adopted a baby girl has been absolutely insane from both sides of the aisle, politically and socially. So on the left, everyone is saying she should be in the club. She shouldn't be living out her early 20s dedicated to her husband and a family. This is a travesty. And on the right, they're criticizing her for adopting a child instead of gestating naturally and giving birth to one of her own biological children.
Can't make anybody happy these days.
You truly cannot win. So in response to the announcement and her request for privacy. People expressly ignored that.
I mean, so me and Olivia had a conversation about that. She had to post something like that because one day she's just going to be out with a baby, and they're going to be like,
did you kidnap someone's baby? Like, what's going on?
Did you just like take that from the local McDonald's? Like, where did you get that baby?
In true Lindsay Lohan fashion, just kidnapping a random child on the street. No, but one of these posts is an old clip from Millie Bobby Brown's interview on the Drew Barrymore show, where she's talking about getting married, which she received a lot of flack for. She got married at 21. She is now at 22, a new mother. And at the time, people were just flipping out over it, having a conniption that she's given up the chance to live freely in her early 20s. This clip shows Millie Bobby Brown talking about how she really doesn't have female friends, and that was why her bachelorette party was one person, her, which is kind of sad, but let's hear her.
Talk birthday.
I know, my 20th birthday was so fun. I was
what was it, may I ask?
Well, it was wedding themed.
Oh, was it also a bachelorette combination?
Yeah, it was like a combination because I was like, I'm not gonna have a bachelorette party. I don't party, just in general. Also, I don't have many girlfriends. I have more boyfriends. Like Jake's fraternity brothers back in college are like some of my closest friends. And so we had like a bachelorette party, but I was the only girl.
Let's talk birthday.
So there were no women at her bachelorette party. And the caption here says, thinking about Millie saying her only friends are her husband's friends, maybe she will make some mom friends now that she's a mom. Yeah. And one of the responses said, her life is so effing depressing.
She's so millennial coded in that all the millennial women are like, oh, we gotta hang out with guys. Women are so much drama.
Yeah, thankfully she didn't say anything like that. But I think people are projecting a lot. Like, there's a lot that they're reading into her saying that was not said. Yeah. They're assuming that she has given up the chance to have a group of female friends forever just because she's married or just because she's a mom, which is ridiculous. You know, you can still have a vibrant social life, especially in an industry like hers, while also being married and having a child. One of the responses also said, her parents pimped her out when she was still a minor and had a pretty traumatic relationship with a 20-something-year-old TikToker when she was 16, and she was apparently groomed by Drake too. Real. This is probably the closest thing to normalcy that she's had in the last decade. And I agree with that.
Take for not using normality and choosing normalcy. You had a chance to be unique there, and you didn't take it.
I think that conservatives don't really pay any mind to how do you rhetorically make marriage seem like an appealing prospect to Gen Z? You're not going to shame them into it, right? You're not going to tell them, like, you have to do this because it's the right thing to do. You have to get married because it's trad. And
population collapse.
And because
happening.
The population is collapsing. Gen Z isn't going to be receptive to those messages. But what they need to hear is, and this is actually true, is that when you get married, you have essentially tethered yourself to the only person on the earth who is going to be on your team, who will look out for you at your most vulnerable moments, when you are perhaps incapacitated, if you're in a medical crisis, and that's just scratching the surface. And Gen Z feels alienated. They feel lonely. They already know that that's true, that they have no one on their team. So actually, like, framing marriage that way is a much more appealing promise. And it's true if you choose your spouse correctly.
Yeah, I think one of the hard parts, though, is like we've grown into at least what is perceived on the outset, given the prevalence of social media and everybody's kind of making their videos and looking into a camera, looking at themselves all the time now. And in an increasingly narcissistic culture, it's hard to imagine that there's a person out there for you. For a lot of people, I'm assuming they believe that it's hard to imagine that you're going to find a person that's going to love you more than they love themselves and put you first. And I feel like there's a great fear that you're not going to find that.
The fear is that it's impossible, and a lot of that
It's
has
not.
to do with Gen Z growing up in broken homes as well. But they need to have an understanding that it's a pact. Like that is an appealing prospect, I think, for a generation that is so lonely and isolated and alienated from each other, and they don't have a sense of community to begin with. They need to understand marriage and family life as its own community, and that's the only one that you're going to have. Your parents are going to die. All of your friends are also going to move across the country for a job, or they're going to get married and have their own shit going on. Even your own siblings, you're going to watch them go into the grave. Everyone will leave you except your spouse. Like, it sounds depressing, but it's actually not.
No, it's not.
That's really a huge reason why marriage exists as an institution.
I am very excited to get married for that exact reason.
And also, Millie Bobby Brown, being an actress, I'm sure that everyone around her just wants to use her for something. Yeah. They're right. This is the closest thing to normalcy that she has found in her life. And she's been in this industry, normality. And she's been in this industry since she was 12 years old, which another person pointed out, saying Millie Bobby Brown's parents are going to hell. They forced an adult life on her so early that it's now all she knows. Her whole childhood being spent forced to be the breadwinner and taking care of her household. Now she's married at 20 and mother at 21. These are your years to live, sister. But if this makes you genuinely happy, I clap for you. That last part is doing a lot of heavy lifting because they're clearly not happy for her. They want to read into this that she has imprisoned herself somehow. And this is not going to make her happy in the long run. And there were a similar amount of backlash comments from people on the right, people who normally, you would assume, celebrate marriage and families.
Also, I just want to point out the divorce rates are down in this country over the last 10 years.
At a 50-year low, and that is being credited for Gen Z's, first off, aversion to marriage in general, but the ones who are choosing marriage are being more selective in who they get married to, and they're being very intentional with how they do it. And that is a good sign. It's not a good sign overall that so many of them are opting out, but the ones who do get married, Millie Bobby Brown included in that statistical minority, they're taking it more seriously than previous generations have.
I just wonder when they say, like, these are your years to live, like, what does that even mean? Is it literally
to go to the club?
Is it literally that boring? Is it really that boring?
Yeah, they have a very small view of the world. A lot of people were basically saying that she's not a real mom because she adopted, and that is just an insult to, like, everyone who has been adopted, any adoptive parent who had to adopt because they struggled with fertility. I don't know when this idea took over. It's also comments from people saying, why didn't she just use a surrogate? This is so weird. Like, now we've gotten to the point where surrogacy is seen as more normal than adopting.
I mean, that's weird considering that there's not really, like, a good argument to say, like, adoption is bad because there's so many children that need homes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I guess if you're willing to be incredibly selfish and be like, I'm doing this because of I want it to be biologically connected to me despite the fact that I can't have kids, but there should be, you know, the idea of adoption should be seen as virtuous and something to aspire to, especially if you can't have children of your own.
One of the replies said, seriously, why would you be adopting at 21? Can't her man produce, or can't she carry? This is weird AF, LOL.
It's literally not weird.
It's not weird at all. Like, I would find it weird if she hired a surrogate. That would be weird. And another one said, what? Can't they use surrogacy or something? Like, that's seen as the default now? Another one said,
eugenics.
If she's so interested, why can't she give it a shot for being a real mother? How do you know that she didn't? Like, that's what I was saying yesterday, is she very well could have not been able to conceive naturally, and it's a good thing that she adopted as an alternative. And no one is saying that's superior. Yeah. It's just what was possible for them.
I mean, this was always going to, the second this became public discourse, this was what was going to happen. People were going to put out hypotheticals that can't even be realistically applied because you don't have enough information on the situation because it's none of our business.
Here's another one. How does one become a mom via the same process as visiting a PetSmart?
I don't think you know how...
They went to the baby store?
I don't think you know how difficult the adoption process actually is. I did see another one that said, like, they let 21-year-olds adopt.
Yeah, if they can prove that they're fit parents.
Yeah.
They let 21-year-olds have their own babies all the time as well. Another one from a right-wing account said, "What is this woke nonsense? Give birth to your own child." This is evil. Like, that's just such an evil thing to say. And she did something selfless by adopting.
Yes.
And obviously people can adopt for wrong reasons or a mix of right and wrong reasons, but they're making a lot of assumptions. Another one said, adoption is great, but they should definitely have some white children. Like, as if they know the ethnicity of the baby that they adopted.
We're getting into like terminally online political brain people that don't understand how to... They do not understand how to interact with the world without the lens of politics. And it's, again, like I felt with the Oasis feminist and the weird interpretive dance lady, this is just a person on the other side of the aisle where I just kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah. I feel worse for Millie Bobby Brown because I know that she probably reads this stuff. You know,
I feel horrible for her, especially since, I mean, she had to ask for privacy because of eventually there's gonna be her out in public with a baby and they're gonna be like,
paparazzi don't give an F.
Where did that come from? So all this discourse around something where you don't even have the bare minimum of facts is kind of depressing.
They're acting like she came out with her announcement and said, "Me and Jake Bon Jovi, my husband, we had a lot of discussions about our carbon footprint, and we decided it would be really terrible for the environment if we had our own baby, so that's why we adopted." Or they're acting like she was like, "You know, I really just don't want to bring another white person into the world, so I went and found an African baby, and that's why I adopted. I hope that you all think I'm a good person because I did that." They're acting like that's what she said.
Yeah.
Which is schizophrenic at best, and just downright evil at worst.
I understand there's a 20 there, but like there are days where I look at the discourse online and I look at the level of effort people put into intellectualizing these takes that are so deeply tied to their political worldview that I just kind of feel bad for them. Like that, the more you get off X, the more time you spend in the real world, the happier you're going to be. It's not always easy, especially like, I mean, for us, because we do it for work in a way, but you're going to be a happier person if you get away from it, because when you're starting to go down these hypothetical trails, it leads you to nowhere but a sense of self-loathing and hatred for other people.
Well, the only reason I thought that the adoption conversation was an interesting one to have yesterday when she announced it is because of the industry she's in and the implications for her career if she chose to get pregnant. But we don't even know if she had that choice.
Well, the reason I said that the reason that I said that was probably that I don't know if that's likely is because the adoption process is not a quick one.
Or if she came out and said, "Guys, I haven't talked about this before, but the reason why I adopted a child is because I didn't want to get pregnant because I'm vain and I just want to be skinny." Like, I mean, when she comes out and says any of those things, then we can talk about it.
And here's the thing, like those questions will get asked. She's not going to escape interviews without these questions being asked. Like, why did you choose? It's a perfectly reasonable question for somebody whose job it is to ask her questions, to ask, why did you choose to adopt in lieu of having your own kids? Because they know that that's what the audience is thinking. Or wants to ask. That's their job as an interviewer, is to ask questions that the general public might deem worthy knowing about. And she's going to get asked these questions, so she better start thinking of some answers right now. What she should do, she should just like bring her a tape recorder with Bon Jovi lyrics and play Bon Jovi songs.
Interpretive.
Yes, interpretive Bon Jovi songs.
Interview answers.
Okay, there is a 20. Let's go to the super chats, and then there's a 20 there.
DCNC said Aussie band Tripod, a song making fun of Oasis's 3 biggest hits, all using exactly the same chords and in the same progression. The 3 of them sing the choruses to the 3 songs simultaneously is something you never forget.
I mean, that just sounds like
they're
Cope.
A parody band?
Sounds like Cope. Oasis over here like, sorry we were so relevant for so long.
Yeah, you can make fun of them, but they're making bank right now. Selling out 7 stadium concerts in a row.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning of it. Therev said, why Mary, in regards to the cringe of the day. Because I'm excellent at my job. What do you mean, why?
in the chat, Christopher Blue says, if it's a private issue, then she should not have made it public. She had to make it public that she adopted because she's going to be seen out in public with a child. Right. And she was never seen as pregnant, and she's a public figure. Now, if you want to say if she wanted to be private, she shouldn't have been a celebrity, well, that's just a hypothetical.
She became a celebrity when she was 12.
She didn't have a choice. So all of this stuff matters. I'm not saying that the reporters asking the questions are wrong. It's the opposite. I'm saying they have the right to ask those questions because it is a matter of public interest. But what we're seeing now online is a bunch of bloviating about what they think it means when they don't really have the information. And we're here bloviating about their bloviation.
They're like, Millie Bobby Brown adopted a child. What does this mean for the white race?
Yeah.
What does this mean for feminism? I mean, what does this mean for me?
When I saw the Cracker Barrel redesign, I was simultaneously furious, but also like, oh my god, all the articles about this is about the death of Americana and, you know, societal collapse.
Get woke, go broke every time. Not that Jon Stewart said, I owe Olivia an apology. We never knew how good we had it.
Yeah. Olivia had a cringe of the day that I was going to share today, but after that, I was like, I'm just going to save it for Monday.
It pales in comparison.
It pales. I mean, you
yeah.
know.
No Control said, the best interpretive dance is that I have a bad case of diarrhea, how to speak English video.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Corey Anderson said, cringe of the day is why subjugation women happens. The purpose of women on the earth is to be mothers.
Is the purpose of men on earth to be fathers?
Yes, I would say that for both men and women.
Then I want to see the interpretive dance from a man about how getting divorced prevents him from... It decouples him from the oneness of the universe and his duty to be a father. In a matriarchal society... divorce rape is what prevents the male race from reaching their potential. Yes, exactly.
From reaching their potential.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like your interpretation of it that becoming a mother is some form of subjugation, though, Corey.
No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying women were subjugated because when they're not subjugated, they end up making videos like this rather than fulfilling their purpose on Earth, which is to be mothers.
Okay.
That's how I interpreted what he said.
All right. E7Z45 said, Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap gave Timmy pink eye, R.I.P.
Is that what happened?
That's why Tim has been off air for so long. He's dealing with pink eye from the Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap. Exactly. Shane H. Wilder said, Walmart piss soap is not surprising. Remember they gave us wicked purple and green vomit mac and cheese and green eggs and Spam?
I did a short about that. It was the most unappetizing thing I've literally ever seen in my entire life.
I hadn't heard about the green eggs and Spam. That kind of sounds good. Spam is good. Spam is underrated, and people should know that. Okay. Let me see. This doesn't look real. This is like AI.
Is it?
Did they do like a brand deal with Dr. Seuss or something?
It's fake.
I don't know.
Thank you!
Thank you!
You're not getting it. It's not talking to you that I'm standing on business.
No Control said, how many crisis parties for married to dress up like Luce? I did consider dressing up as Luce for Halloween last year, but I wasn't able to procure a yellow coat fast enough. And if I put on a blue wig and a yellow raincoat, everyone is just going to think that I'm dressing up as Coraline. So it's like, what's even the point of trying?
It's the worst.
I could do it this year for Halloween. I do have a blue wig already because I wore it for our Halloween costume contest. When was that? Like 2023?
That sounds right. I don't think we would have done that last year.
Because I was dressing up as what was her name from Ed, Edd n Eddy? Marie Canker? Yeah, the one with blue hair.
Was that 2023 that they did that? I
think
never
so.
participated in any of the company events.
Who won?
I was begrudgingly dragged into gift giving to like.
That might have been 2022. Carter had the best costume that year, as the Mothman.
Oh yeah, the Mothman.
It was
great.
incredible.
I remember that.
Yeah. Christina Lee said, I went to see...
I remember somebody went as Kyle Rittenhouse one year.
Oh.
I think it was a girl that went as Kyle. I don't remember who it was.
Right. Because if a guy dresses up as Kyle Rittenhouse, it's like kind of sus,
yeah.
right? There were... Okay, I just have to say, there were a lot of men cross-dressing at that Halloween party, from what I recall.
Sus? Pretty sus.
Pretty sus, including Kellen.
What did he go as?
I don't even remember what Kellen's costume was because he just looked like a random woman, like wearing a dress and lipstick. I was like, "What's the costume, bro? Did you just want to dress up as a woman today?"
Bro, they're like, I just.
He might have said like Barbara Bush or something.
That's kind of funny.
I have no idea.
Nobody went as Monica Lewinsky.
Maybe it was Monica Lewinsky.
Sarah
I don't even
Palin.
remember now. But yeah, there were a lot of men dressing up as women that year, including Luke, Kellen. What's that?
Does
all
that mean
about?
anything? Make of that what you will.
It kind of stuck with me. Christina Lee said, I went to see Oasis in Providence in the 90s. Liam was obsessing over John Lennon. We all loved Oasis, all straight college kids of both genders.
Yeah, the thing about that lady's article is that they will look back on any time in history and try to boil it down to some type of gender-specific idea, when in reality, outside of, there were plenty of musical acts that would have appealed to both genders. Not everything is like it is now with your... like, I'm sure, like, when you go see The Weeknd in concert, there's as many women as there are men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like, do I have to read some annoying, self-indulgent think piece about back in the 2010s when all of the women went, or all of the men were at the Weeknd concerts because he spoke to a specific racial and monetary demographic of blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
Journalists need to hear it.
They need to be
Don't
told.
apologize.
No, not even just journalists. Opinion piece writers.
The
should be told
essayists,
to shut the
specifically
fuck up.
the essayists.
With a capital F. and a
The
capital
most
E.
annoying people on the planet. No Control said Hollywood's best chance to reach men is to do an over-the-top movie with boobs and car chases with the intention of mocking men. I disagree with that. Like, I don't think that you can outwardly mock the audience and get away with it.
I think what he's pointing out is like, it's like every time they show you Homelander and they're like, they're making fun of you. And they're like, yeah, this is awesome. I don't care.
Okay, what would be an example of that, like in an action movie?
It's the media literate. I don't know if that exists. I'm saying I don't know what he's talking about specifically, if there's a specific example as a larger theme. But in general, if I have to hear somebody complain about media literacy and how you don't understand the meaning of this movie, I just want to nuke my social media platforms and go live in the woods.
You know, we have a problem where I think men need to be more interested in three-dimensional boobs
rather
these
than
days.
movie boobs.
Yeah. That could really help society.
Look, just make action movies. Guys love action movies. They do. We do. I rewatched Equalizer 3 recently. It's so mid. It's not even funny, but I loved it.
Some of the action movies are flopping. You can't deny
great.
that. The action movies are not a formula for success.
I'm saying, like, maybe we go back to a day. It's a guy. He's the action star. There's a girl. He saves her life. Damsel in distress. People used to love damsels in distress.
Okay.
The guy wants to be the hero. The woman wants to fantasize about being saved by a man of extreme levels of competence.
The Fall Guy did that.
Yes, and it was
but
great.
It flopped.
Yeah,
It flopped.
It was a spring release. It was also more
And
comedy.
it's original IP.
But it was a comedy more than an... See, the thing is, you know what's a better example? Is Bullet Train. Not of the damsel. No, and she wasn't a damsel in distress in Fall Guy. She ends up beating the crap out of the guy in the trailer.
But she gets saved by Ryan Gosling.
But the point is it was more comedy than it was. It was more satirical in comedy.
In Bullet Train, the damsel in distress actually turned out to be the villain. So
it was great.
But it was great. I just don't know if action movies are really like the thing that's gonna get Gen Z men into theaters.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would speak more to millennial men and Gen X men.
Yeah, so they're kind of a puzzle.
There will need to be more memetics in selling to Gen Z.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's possible that, like, they might be onto something with the idea of, like, round the world adventures and treasure hunting. Something that's not about necessarily good and evil as it is Indiana Jones-esque seeking out a treasure.
How about...
Though there is obviously evil that gets overcome in those movies.
This will never happen, likely, but Extreme Peace, the movie, I think there'd be an audience for that.
I just want to see, you know what? I want to see Denzel do Equalizer 4. You know, I liked 3.
No, they're looking for original.
No.
They want original IP. Plus, you're a millennial.
Yeah,
you don't know what the Gen Z guys want.
It's not for me. It's not for them. It's for me. I don't give a... You know, that's their business. They can worry about themselves. I'm trying to get my piece.
Okay, that's why the tweet puzzled me. I was like, okay.
Yes, national treasure. Thank you.
They think 17-year-old boys in 2025 care about, like, boobs and car crashes. They actually don't.
Make National Treasure 3 where Nicolas Cage goes after the Epstein files. Just make that.
Am I wrong? I feel like
you're not wrong.
Gen Z men like don't care about like boobs and car crashes.
Well, they should.
They want to just go to a movie that's absurd and behave absurdly in the theater.
Yep.
That's what they want. It doesn't matter if there are hot women or car crashes in it.
They're going to have to make that Fortnite movie eventually.
Pop Culture Junkie said a former colleague of mine fielded that Disney Marvel study. He warned them that they would get skewed data. They wouldn't listen.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, the lab coats are always right. Shane H. Wilder said the terminally online on both sides are tarded. Facts.
Yeah.
Pop
Just
culture.
like a good way to temper that is like take one of your like political takes online and then go find a person in the real world and say it to them and figure out whether you have like weird secondhand embarrassment for yourself.
They'll be like, "What?
Yeah.
What is Millie Bobby Brown?"
Like okay, you're in a car with somebody who doesn't really think about politics and be like, "You know what? 80% of the men are 20% of the men are getting 80% of the women."
And a normie will just be like,
"What?
80 sorry, repeat that. 80% of what now?"
Yeah. Like, and I'm
then
not even saying you're wrong. I'm saying just don't do it for your own sake.
If you go to the trouble of explaining it, the normie you're talking to will just be like, "That's really interesting."
Yeah.
They'll just move on with their lives.
Yep.
Pop Culture Junkie said regarding the Millie Bobby Brown comments, it's none of their effing business, period.
Yeah.
True. I wish that
it's none of our business
that.
when we're talking about it. So.
Well, I think we get a pass because we're talking about the conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
We're talking about them talking about it.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said...
That's such a life hack.
Right.
Like, you don't have to engage in the actual debate. You just debate about the debaters debating the debate.
Perfect. That's our bag.
Yep.
Shane H. Wilder said it was a Dr. Seuss brand deal for the 65th anniversary of Green Eggs and Ham.
Ugh.
I love Spam. I won't have any slander against Spam. I've sung its praises on the show before, I'm sure. It is incredibly delicious.
Joyce in the chat mentioned the show Primeval. I've never gotten a chance to watch it. I've started it like 3 times. It's one of those. I'm like, yeah. I hit play and like 5 minutes later I turn it off.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to like it and then I don't.
Shane H. Wilder said, you just have to get a shepherd's crook and muddy boots. You already got the rosary, so you're good for a Luce costume. I know, I could really execute it well, but most people are going to be like, who the F is Luce? And they would just think I'm dressing up as Coraline. I don't even like Tim Burton.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
People need to know that. They need to find out.
We've got a couple of Rumble rants here. Let's do these quicker. At least we have the one. I think
there are a
saw
couple
2 there. Okay, from the local Wendigo says, don't forget Hamtramck Detroit. It feels like it's the desert when driving through.
Like Ventura Boulevard in the middle of the night.
Broody Gambit says they did it in the comics with Sam Wilson as disingenuous. It was always Bucky who took over until the early 2010s when comics started shifting deliberately to follow the MCU instead of the other way around. Yes. That's why I pointed it out. The same reason people were critical of the use of Shalabal in Fantastic Four rather than using Norrin Rad, which is the Silver Surfer that everybody knows and loves. It is their out to say, well, it happened in the comics. I was pointing that out. I wasn't being disingenuous. I was saying I understand where their argument comes from because it's done intentionally by them to use those versions of the characters. Okay, let's continue.
No Control said, kind of like Team America making fun of America.
Yeah, everybody loves Team America World Police, even though it is being critical of the, the war.
We're born in the USA.
Yeah, like I saw something the other day where like, oh, conservatives don't know that the song Fortunate Son is actually critical of the war. I'm like, who didn't know that? I wasn't even from that generation and I knew that.
Greg Duvier said, bring back male revenge movies. Like,
I mean, but that's already...
Would John Wick count?
That's already going on.
That's happening.
John Wick, that's that. In fact, I would actually rather get away from the revenge movies and find more just slop action movies. That's what I want. Slop.
We know what
action
Brett
movies.
wants.
Slop.
We know that Brett wants slop, but the question is, what does Gen Z want?
Not slop. They want mimetic movies.
They're not gonna go to the freaking movies. I mean, give up. Give up now. Give up while you're ahead, right? They're not going to go to the movies. They don't have money. It's not that complicated. Yes, it's that you haven't been trying to appeal to them this whole time, but it's also the fact that they wouldn't be able to afford going to a movie that actually appealed to them if they wanted to. So just give up. Sorry, Hollywood. But yeah, that's just the situation right now.
Don't worry, we're still going to get that Michael Bay Skibbity Toilet movie, so we're good.
I'm sure that's going to be a hit on TikTok.
Can't
They're just
wait.
going to be pirating it all over your For You page. Shane H. Wilder said, I'm down for a National Treasure 4. Cage can do it after filming True Detective Season 5. Oh, and nothing wrong with spam. It's meat in a can. Let's go.
Okay, so first...
Love it.
Are you saying National Treasure 4 because National Treasure 3 was that stupid TV show that nobody watched? Because the only National Treasure movies I've seen are the first and the second. What is the third, if not the TV show? And as far as True Detective goes, all I know is there was True Detective Season 1, which is a masterpiece. True Detective Season 2, which nobody likes. And then there was like True Detective Night Country with like the ladies that was nobody liked either, but HBO pushed super hard. Am I missing one in there? I'm missing some in there.
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I'm missing something. All right.
I think we're all caught
Okay,
up on
we
the
are all
super
caught up.
chats here.
It's I was like, am I missing something there? I definitely feel like I'm missing a couple there.
I did watch a movie on a plane that I could
What was it?
riff on a little.
What was it?
You know, it wasn't that good, so don't even take this as a recommendation. But I was just doing what I normally do. I like watching movies on planes. And none of them really seemed that appealing. I thought about watching Civil War.
The Marvel movie?
No.
Or the A24
No,
movie?
not the Marvel one. The A24 one that's like actually about a civil war.
Yeah.
But then everyone said that it's not about civil war, it's about journalists.
It is.
And I was like, I don't know if I really want to bore myself with this right now.
Yeah.
So then
Apparently Warfare is really good.
I saw I think I'd seen the trailer for it before. It's called Companion.
Okay.
I forget which studio it's from. It's not A24, but it's kind of adjacent to that. Starring, what's her name? I think it's like Sophie Thatcher.
Okay.
I haven't seen her in anything else. She looks more like an Instagram model. Yeah, Sophie Thatcher. She plays this basically robotic, like sex, like she plays like a companion, like sex bot.
So it's like Subservience or whatever, the one with Megan Fox.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Which already, we don't even have sex bots yet on the market, but we already have like an oversaturation of movies about sex bots
That's
killing
where Hollywood
people.
was always gonna go.
Yeah. So it was the same exact concept from what I could tell. It basically played like a Black Mirror episode that got scrapped and wasn't even good enough to make it into the season. Okay. That was like 30 minutes too long. It wasn't good. I only watched it because I was interested in, I guess, the impetus behind creating such a movie.
Okay.
And like what it says about our collective consciousness, which is just anxiety about artificial intelligence. It's not that complicated. It's just that we're feeling anxiety about sex and about artificial intelligence right now, and that's why a movie like this gets made.
Yeah, I felt like as AI becomes more prevalent, the art being made about AI will get worse because it'll be more instilled with anxiety from a real world perspective rather than asking decently philosophical questions about what it means for society, which is what would have happened or what did happen when AI movies were made in the past because there was some distance.
As AI encroaches further and further into our daily lives,
that is going to become porn, which is the other thing Hollywood will always do.
Yeah, we don't have to like imagine as much about what it could be capable of.
When James Cameron's doing it, it's cool. There's explosions. There's Arnie robots and all that stuff and melting liquid. Yeah. Now it's just like your job is going to go away. Yeah. And the women are going to be replaced by sex bots with wombs.
Right. Well, in the movie, it was also like, it was so stupid, but like when you buy one of these sex bots, they give you the app that controls the sex bot on your phone. And I'm like, it automatically just jumped the shark for me because in a world where hyper realistic humanoid sex bots exist on the market for civilians, the hardware of a smartphone is not going to be what we use anymore. Yeah. Like, it's going to be something else. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be a flat, like a smartphone that has an app on it that you press buttons that control your sex bot. Like, that's just automatically ridiculous to me. Yeah. But yeah, then she like, he puts a mod on her software.
Oh shit! Open source sex bots,
and it makes her more aggressive. So she starts killing everybody. And
everyone knows that Linux was a mistake in the future.
Yeah, it was kind of just art slop by the end of it, but if it's also like way too many lines that are played for millennial laughs, like that escalated quickly type shit.
As one does.
Right, exactly. Like, it was like, shit, like the AI sex bot just stabbed somebody and they're like, so that just happened.
Yeah, it's a very millennial thing.
And I was like, yeah, this was probably a Black Mirror episode that didn't get picked up.
So that just happened. Oh my God, I'm watching a person get stabbed by a sex bot.
What? 5Voltage75 said, Mary, which is worse to you, Sleep Token or Gorillaz? Gorillaz is better musically. The lore still pisses me off. I don't like that the whole concept that's like, the whole shtick is like, oh, they're not real. That's so quirky. Like, that's so lame to me. And because the Gorillaz did it, it's played out. So why is anyone else doing it again? Like, you exhausted that concept a long time ago.
Pretty unique thing back in the year 2002. Right.
Shane H. Wilder said, might have my numbers off. I've got Nick Cage brain.
Yeah, but I could be wrong too. I never really cared for. I saw the announcement of him being in like a new season of True Detective, and I thought, like what you said, was that it was 5. And I was like, where the hell is 4? But maybe there was a season 3 that I just never knew about, and the Night Country or whatever the one with the women in it is considered 4. Or maybe the Night Country one with the women is considered 4 because it's 2 times as difficult to put up with them. So they've made it 2.
Pop Culture Junkie said Gen Z movie solution, lower ticket prices.
That would help.
I don't think they can at this point.
Inflation doesn't work that way.
Gordon
Prices
Shumway.
don't generally go back down.
Mary, I recommend going to a Pacific Islander cookout if you ever get the chance. You'll be amazed how many Spam dishes there will be. They put Spam in everything. I would love to do that. Remember my whole polemic about Hawaiian rolls?
Yep. What was it you said?
Like, when you think about it, humanity is kind of like a pack of Hawaiian rolls because we're all separate, but we're also connected.
I probably almost quit that day. You're
like, that's it.
I was like, that's
I've had it.
That's a little bit much for me, guys. I gotta go. I'm out of here.
Greg Duvier said Breaking Super Troopers 3 is being filled.
I never saw Super Troopers 2.
Oh, I thought. Okay, I was confused about the grammar here. It means
I heard it was bad,
breaking
so I never
news.
saw it.
Okay. Are we all caught up?
No, we got 2 more Rumble rants. The local Wendigo says, I literally can't tell if that's how that's pronounced. Whatever that place in Michigan is. Used to be Polish, but now it's very Arabic. Okay. And Broody Gambit says, sorry, I figured you understood the cop-out. I was just expanding a bit on the idea because the people who claim it happened in the comics annoy me since they clearly they don't have the historical context. I mean, I am not the world's biggest comic book fan. I definitely do not read them anymore. But I am very aware of the excuse that's used when they make these characters, you know, like wanting to do Val Zod's Superman with, what's his name? The dude, the race hustler dude, I forget his name. I always want to say Taika Waititi, but it's not
Ta-Nehisi
Coates. Taika Waititi, Ta-Nehisi Coates is the same thing. Like wanting to do a Val Zod.
Hey, that's kind of racist.
Actually, no, Val Zod was going to be Michael B. Jordan, but like wanting to do that and knowing that it does exist in the comics, it is an excuse to give them a chance to do that version of it. So.
High Voltage 75 said James Cameron said the next Avatar is going to be even longer than the last one. He can't keep getting away with this.
He can, because he keeps making $1 billion every time.
It's because he thinks less of his own movies. He thinks any given 10 minutes in the movie is not worth watching.
I did when I was recording something recently, I was actually talking about how I was critiquing the Person of Interest extended edition of the pilot that's on all the streaming services, or that's on streaming now. You can't find the 42-minute and 50-second version on streaming. You have to watch this extended version that I do believe is worse. It adds this material, and I was reading this review that was like fawning over the extra 10 minutes. Like, it's only 10 minutes more, but it's so much better. I'm like, no, it's not. It's ass. It added nothing. Like, it added a bunch of dialogue that didn't change anything. There was areas that could have had scenes explained better that didn't get extended edition. No. You're wrong. And that's the problem with streaming now, is they don't get constrained by the 42-minute and 50-second golden time slot that you're looking for, so they can dump you with 15 minutes
just be whatever
of
the
ads.
hell
They're
they
just
want.
like, let's just film 3 hours of stuff and we'll cut it down to 1 hour and 50 minutes per episode and then force you to sit through it. Edit your shit down, make it shorter, maybe people will watch.
We understand this because with what we do, we're on the cutting room floor every day.
Yes.
Right? We're like talking about what's going to be included in every episode of this podcast.
Like, seriously, how highly must you think of yourself to make like a 2-hour episode of something 8 times and pretend like I want to watch that?
Yeah. No.
Maybe this is why
That's why everything is a vanity project now.
And all the
don't have
shows,
constraints.
and all the streaming shows that I've ever ended up liking still fell into that formula. So if I remember correctly, most of the shows from Taylor Sheridan still do like they come in under an hour for their episode lengths. The Reacher episodes are about 42 minutes apiece, maybe a little bit longer. Twisted Metal season 1, no, I have not seen season 2 yet, was like the 42 minutes. They weren't operating in this, like, let's make everything 2 hours long. No, I turned on, like, what was it, like Mobland? It was like an hour. I'm like, no.
That's very presumptuous of them.
It is. I can't do it.
Shane H. Wilder said gorillas weren't unique. The Archie did it in the 60s, 70s, and Prozac did it in the late 90s. Well, I guess that means that Sleep Token is as derivative as it gets, and they suck. Which was my point all along.
Yes, the Terminal List was only 90 minutes or so, if that. Great. Yeah. I don't remember the Terminal List episodes being super long, but I do remember, like with a show like the Terminal List, where it's like, it's just gray and depressing. Like, I don't want 2 hours of gray and depressing. Give me 42 minutes of gray and depressing, and then I'll decide whether I want to go on to the next episode or wait.
I vaguely remember watching the first episode, and I gave up.
It's like when I tried to... It's like the show Wallander with Kenneth Branagh. Like, I needed Prozac after watching that show. It was so drab and boring. And I
needed whatever Lil Nas X is on.
I need a little bit of whatever, whatever he was taking.
Okay, I think we're all caught up now.
All right. Guys, before we go, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Our episodes are 2 hours long, but I swear it's never
all worth
overextended.
it.
It's all worth it for us. We're allowed to go over 2 hours, and it's not.
Hey, you're still here.
You're still
if you're watching.
So. Okay, Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
All right. If you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic. On both of those platforms, this show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you like to listen rather than watch this show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Yeah, somebody says make this show 3 hours. We would, but we have a respect for your time. Again.
Except for on Tuesday.
But if you guys want to follow this show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We will see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.